There are nearly 8,000 Vietnamese restaurants stateside now, and almost none of them will tell you the secret. It's not the herbs, it's not the fish sauce. It's a 2,000-year-old flavor system most cooks never name out loud. 5 tastes, 1 rule, balance, or the dish fails. Tonight, you're not learning recipes. You're learning the code chefs guard like family secrets. Stick around. By the end, you'll taste what everyone else is missing. Subscribe if you want the real story behind every cuisine, not just the recipe. The 5-flavor philosophy, Ngũ Vị, explained. This isn't seasoning. Every Vietnamese grandmother knows this without ever studying it. Sweet stabilizes, sour gathers, salt preserves, bitter purifies, spicy disperses. Excess heat, grease, or cold disrupts the balance and causes disease. That's not folklore. That's the operating system behind every bowl of pho you've ever eaten. This is Ngũ Vị, the 5-flavor doctrine, and it's older than most of the countries that now claim fusion cuisine as innovation. Here's the part most cooking channels skip entirely. These 5 tastes aren't random preference. They're paired to organs, seasons, even emotions. Imbalance can cause emotional or physical issues, according to the same framework. Get the ratio wrong, and a dish doesn't just taste off, it fails its actual job. Every dish you cook next will either follow this logic or fight against it. Stay through the next 5 sections. Each flavor gets its own breakdown, and by the end, you'll know exactly how to build a dish from scratch, not just follow one. Sweet, palm sugar and balance. Forget dessert. In Vietnam, sugar goes in the meat pot. Walk into any home kitchen in Ho Chi Minh City, and you'll find a jar of dark, syrupy caramel sitting next to the fish sauce. Any respectable Vietnamese cook has a jar of caramelized sugar syrup at the ready, not for cake, for co. Co is the technique. Burn the sugar past sweet into bitter, then deglaze it with fish sauce and aromatics like shallots, garlic, black pepper. What comes out is dark, glossy, almost smoky. And it's what makes caramel pork or braised fish taste like home instead of a recipe. Palm sugar, doing top note, is the upgrade. Lighter smoke, rounder sweetness, a faint funk that white sugar can't touch. Western cooks finish with sugar. Vietnamese cooks build with it. That's the whole difference between a flat dish and one with depth, and it's hiding in a jar most tourists walk right past at the market. Sour, lime, tamarind, and brightness. Ask any Vietnamese home cook what they make when they're out of ideas. The answer is always the same. Can chua. Ask any Vietnamese home cook what they make when they don't know what to cook, and most will say can chua. It's the dish nobody plans for, because it's always already planned. The sour comes from tamarind, not a splash, a block, soaked and squeezed until the broth turns tangy and complex. Some families use sour starfruit instead. Restaurants in Saigon might add elephant ear stem for its spongy, broth-soaking texture. No 2 bowls are identical, and nobody argues about it. There's a reason it shows up on every table, every region, every household, and it's not just taste. In Vietnamese culture, sour soups are believed to balance your body's temperature, cooling you down in hot, humid weather. That's Saigon's climate logic baked directly into a soup bowl. Drop in pineapple, tomato, bean sprouts, a fistful of rice paddy herb, and the broth turns from sharp to rounded in 1 spoonful. That's the sour flavor doing its real job, cutting through everything richer sitting next to it on the table. Salty, fish sauce, the soul of the cuisine. 1 bottle, and the whole island smells like it. Step onto Phu Quoc, and the fermentation hits you before the beach does. It's the smell that's both formidable and utterly foundational, and to anyone who actually loves Vietnamese food, it's not a smell to avoid, it's home. Inside those wooden barrels, 1 part salt, 3 parts anchovies, left to ferment for up to a year. Liquid is drained from the bottom and poured back over the top daily. The same barrel, the same ritual, for generations. The first press is the good stuff. Everything after that is the runoff. That first extraction, Nước Mam Nhi, is treated like the first cold press of olive oil. Light, golden, complex. Everything pressed after it gets weaker, cheaper, less alive. This isn't seasoning salt with extra steps. It's protein breaking down into amino acids over months of equatorial heat, and that's exactly why it tastes savory in a way table salt never will. Skip the fish sauce, and you're not cooking Vietnamese food. You're cooking a recipe with the soul removed. Bitter, the forgotten flavor. This dish has a name that literally means the suffering has passed. It's called ho qua, bitter melon, and at Tet, you're expected to eat it whether you like it or not. By eating it for Tet, people wish all hardships in life will go away and the new year will be full of happiness. It's that direct. Eat the bitter, leave the bad year behind. Bitter melon doesn't soften like other vegetables when cooked. It stays sharp, almost medicinal. Stuff it with ground pork and noodles, simmer it in a clear broth, and it still bites back. That's the point. Most cuisines treat bitterness as a flaw to fix. Vietnam treats it as a feeling to sit with. This is the flavor nobody talks about at the dinner table. Sweet gets the compliments, sour gets the cravings, bitter just sits there, doing its quiet job in the background. But every cook who's mastered Vietnamese food knows, skip it, and the dish goes one note. It's the flavor equivalent of hardship, uninvited, uncomfortable, and somehow exactly what the dish needed. Umami, depth from fermentation. Locals call it polarizing. Tourists call it, what is that smell? Mam tom, fermented shrimp paste, is purple-grey, pungent, and unapologetic. For those unfamiliar with it, the strong aroma and intense flavor can be a challenge, but for the initiated, it's a treasured delicacy that quietly powers half the dishes you've already fallen in love with. This stuff is the engine behind bun rio, bun bo hui, bun do mam tom. It's commonly served with grilled meats, particularly pork, complemented by fresh herbs like perilla, mint, and cilantro to balance its intensity. Here's the trick. It never tastes the way it smells once it hits a hot pan. The shrimp ferment for weeks, sometimes months, in salt and sun. What comes out reads as overwhelming in the jar, and disappears into pure depth once cooked into a broth or stir-fry. This is umami before umami was a marketing word. No MSG shortcut, no lab trick, just shrimp, salt, and thyme doing the work fermentation has always done. Skip it, and a broth tastes thin. Add it, and suddenly everything tastes like it's been simmering for a week. Putting it all together, Nước Chấm demo. One sauce, every flavor you just learned, no exceptions allowed. Nước Chấm is the final exam. Sweet, sour, salty, umami, and yes, bitter, all show up in this one small bowl, and if one of them dominates, the whole thing falls apart. The classic starting ratio, 1 part fish sauce, 1 part lime juice, 1 part sugar, 2 parts warm water. That's the canvas, not the rule. Here's what nobody tells beginners. Your goal is a sauce where no single flavor dominates. You should taste all 4 elements in each sip. Too salty, you reach for lime. Too sour, you reach for sugar. Too intense, you add water. It's a live negotiation, not a fixed recipe. Vietnamese grandmothers don't measure this. They taste, frown, adjust, taste again, until it clicks. Some skip the bitter note entirely here. It shows up elsewhere on the table. But the other 4 are non-negotiable, fighting for balance in the same spoonful. Once you've made this sauce by feel, instead of by measuring cup, you've crossed over. You're not following a Vietnamese recipe anymore. You're thinking the way a Vietnamese cook thinks. That's the whole 5-flavor system, distilled into one bowl on every table in the country. Cook with the flavor code. You now know something most home cooks never figure out, even after years of eating Vietnamese food. Sweet that builds instead of finishes, sour that cuts through richness on purpose, salt with centuries of fermentation behind it, bitter that nobody talks about, doing quiet work in the background, umami pulled straight from the sea and time itself. This isn't a recipe list anymore, it's a lens. Walk into any Vietnamese kitchen, A street stall in Saigon, a grandmother's home in the Mekong Delta, a strip mall spot in Houston, and the same 5-flavor logic is running underneath everything on the table. Here's the real test. Next time you cook anything, ask which flavor is missing instead of which ingredient. That single shift changes how you taste, how you season, how you fix a dish that feels flat. You don't need a recipe, you need the code. Vietnamese cuisine isn't mysterious anymore. It's a system, and now it's yours. If this changed the way you think about food, subscribe for more deep dives into the cultures, techniques, and ingredients behind the world's best cuisines. The stuff most cooking channels skip entirely. Next time, we go deeper. One flavor, one dish, one country at a time.